welcome to my channel. Well, I've covered this knife a couple of times before, but I just wanted to cover it again. And that is basically the current version of the Marbles Ideal knife. You can get used and vintage versions of the Marbles Ideal knife or #1 knife, but you're gonna pay anywhere from like $100 to $3,000 for a vintage one, that has the leather handles, stacked handles and all that. Or you can get one of these, which is what I did. It doesn't have the leather stacked handles, but it still has the blade profile. That's what I was looking for, is something that still had the same blade profile like the old ones, this big fuller here or area where you can just grab up. That just makes it distinctive to me. Now, they used the Marbles, #1 pattern to come up with this guy. And you can kind of see some of the similarities, that long little groove there. But it has some bells and whistles, sawbacks and a hammerhead and lashing points, a metal guard. More designed for military purposes and stuff. Although it can be used, it's just not quite as good of a camp knife as something like this. Although, this is good for banging down tent pegs and everything else, but you're paying for it and the weight on the handle. Whereas if you just want to have this size blade and everything, this is a lot lighter to carry. It's a wider belly blade also. It doesn't have the sharpened false edge, but you're not really... it can be a fighting knife. I mean, that's what it was originally designed for, was, like a fighting knife or a hunting knife. For those that like to beat on their knives through wood and everything, this will come in handy, because if you have a sharpened swedge up here, you're just going to split whatever you're beating on it with if it's another stick. And if it's anything stronger than that, like a rock, you're just going to smack the hell out of your edge. So, yeah, these are, to me, a lot of times, I don't want to carry the weight of this. I don't need, the functionality of a hammer or carrying a sharpening stone or a lashing thing, because I'm not in a survival situation. This is just for like carrying around. You want a big knife, you want a fixed blade that can still do everything you'd need a knife to do, but you're not necessarily bushcrafting or playing around. This can be used for that. Now the sheath, for a nylon sheath, this is not bad. Like I said, it's got rivets along here where you need them. It's reinforced with something to stiffen it, This metal flap here is nice. I like it when they do that. It reinforces it, because this is what you're going to be pulling up against. You could do a scout carry. You just have to have a pretty small belt to do that. This right here is better than some flaps I've seen, where it's just a little thin piece of webbing. It would have been nice if this could have incorporated an easy on-off snap, to it, where you just take this flap and you make it snap here. But, I mean, this works for what it's done. So, if you want something that links back to the kind of the history of the knife, but is inexpensive, this is the way to go. These are fairly inexpensive, and the steel isn't the sharpest, or the toughest. Let's say the greatest edge holding steel in the world. Now, as far as toughness, I threw this one in the ground and it hit a rock and it dulled the metal, but it didn't chip. And it was easy to fix it. I just basically resharpened it. So that's where if I would have had a super high Rockwell hardness on this or something, it could have taken a chunk out of the blade. A roll is much easier to fix than a chunk. A chunk, you're going to have to go all the way back to the chunk area and start your bevel from there if you want to fix it. Whereas a roll, You just sharpen the rolled edge. So there's some advantages and disadvantages to that. But anyways, this is the budget way to go if you want some history linking back. And otherwise, you just look at eBay and you just wait and wait, or you save up your money and say, all right, I'm gonna pay $150, $200 for an old knife, just for the history of it. If that means that much to you or your collection, then fine. For me, I'm going for more practicality. I like to have the length of the past. I know this is made in China. I know this is craton or rubber as opposed to leather and all that. But I still get basically the same shape and feel of the knife that I was looking for without paying hundreds. And I'm never going to pay $3,000 for a used knife. Unless I'm super rich. If I get super rich, then when $3,000 is equivalent to like $3 to me, then yeah, I might buy one. Until that time happens, I'm going to be satisfied with what I got. So, thank you for watching, and have a nice day.